You are listening to the Spiritual Warrior Coach with Barbara Savin, the podcast for discovering how powerful your wisdom, compassion, and courage is. Get ready to join Barbara and her guests as they explore and offer you advice on how to reclaim your power, your energy, and your authentic self. And now, here's the host of the show, Barbara Savin.
Thank you for joining me today and welcome. I am Barbara Savin, your spiritual warrior coach, and I am here to help you reclaim your power, your energy, and your authentic self. I am a certified clinical and medical hypnotherapist. I'm a Reiki master and teacher, energy healing specialist, life coach, and best-selling author of Gentle Energy Touch, the Beginner's Guide to Hands-on Healing. You know, I have been helping my clients for over 35 years. The older I get, the more wisdom seems to come through. So isn't it time that you believe in yourself? You know, your mind is going to provide you with your greatest challenges in life because it's so very, very powerful. So let's use it for positive thinking, creating harmony, balance, peace, love, happiness, and anything else that your heart desires. Because one day, the world will tap you on your shoulder and say, this is your time to shine. And speaking about shining, I'm going to bring on my guest right now. Hi, how are you, Dale?
Hi, it's such a pleasure. I love your introduction. It's beautiful.
Oh,
it's such a beautiful mission.
Thank you. So let me tell my listeners a little bit about you. Your name is Dale LaCour. Right? Did I pronounce that right? She's been passionate about holistic health since she was a young girl. And Dale was watching her father heal from cancer to help her daughter, heal from cancer and also helping her daughter overcome anxiety and depression. And the power of holistic health and natural solutions has always been important to Dale. Dale is the mother of 5 children and a grandma to 3, and always believed in the importance of taking care of your health, both physically and mentally. And Dale is now on a mission for mental health by proving information on the gut-brain connection, the second brain. And she helps families focus on improving stress and also increasing energy, decreasing anxiety, improving focus and attention challenges in children, also lifting up your mood, your overall well-being through optimizing the gut-brain connection. And welcome. This is like an unbelievable topic to talk about.
Yes, it's definitely in the front line today with everything that's going on. Just there's a lot of anxiety, just a lot of uncertainty in the world right now. And I think we have to bring in, all the tools that we can possibly find to give ourselves that stress resilience and keep us in a positive light, in a positive space.
Oh, without a doubt, because the more positive we think, the physical body, will react to that positive thinking.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so now let me ask you, you were fascinated, as a young girl about holistic health. What transpired?
It's incredible. I was 10 years old and I can literally see myself right now with my mom and my dad. And my mom was peeling off the bandages from him. He had severe melanoma and he was told, he'll have a year to live. And so I'm the youngest of 7. I think it was probably the only time I've ever seen my mother cry because she was, powerhouse woman. But my father sought out alternative treatments, and it happened to be a doctor here in upstate New York, Dr. Paul, no, not Dr. Pauling, Dr. Brown. It was in Pauling, New York. He was having people were coming to his house from all over the country for this protocol that he had developed, and he was trying to get it passed through the FDA, but could not. Anyway, long story short, my dad got on the protocol. He lived another 40 plus years. So that was my first introduction to the body can heal itself, so I raised my kids along those lines with homeopathy and herbs and acupuncture and all the natural modalities. And I raised, luckily, and thankfully 5 healthy children. And have always believed in the power of the body to heal itself, but you have to put it in the right environment, physically, emotionally, spiritually. It all has to be connected.
Oh, without a doubt, because what happens, like I see with my clients, many of them, they begin to break down spiritually, then they break down emotionally, mentally. And the physical body is last to really break down. Now, once that happens, you have to now try to help the physical body, but then you have to now help the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual. And it's, sometimes that journey could be a very long time based on the type of illness.
Right. And it's interesting that you say that the body is the last place. And it's really true, because we don't make that mind body connection. And that's what's so amazing to me. Like, there's no talk about it. And I know, and I witnessed it through my daughter, that, any kind of trauma gets stored in the body. So she, even though she lived a holistic lifestyle and all that, she experienced some trauma in college, and she was not in a good place when she got home. And we got on this protocol. I happened to be at a marketing conference. I met this woman who was with the mental wellness company. She was talking about holistic solutions for anxiety and stress and depression. And I was like, I need to know about this like now. So I got my daughter on the products, and I was completely astounded to see, the results that she had. It took some time. And along the journey, and I remember talking to the formulator and saying, my daughter's having like ups and downs throughout this protocol. Like, what's that about? And he said, it's basically like the peeling of an onion. Like, it's like emotional detox, which it was really astounding, because she would say to me, I think about the trauma that happened and I don't feel the same about it. Like, I don't have that feeling of fear, or whatever emotions she had stored were being released. And she could now look at it in a different light. So it was, to me, it was like, wow, like there really is a mind-body connection. And then we know with like autoimmune diseases, like typically there's a lot of trauma or pain or something that has been unresolved, and it's showing up in the body. And so what I have seen from people that have been on this gut brain axis protocol and starting the healing processes, they're now able to kind of face those emotions that they've been stuffing, because they have to, because now it's like my body is feeling the pain. My body is taking on all of this pain and trauma. And it doesn't have to be major trauma. It can be a small trauma. It doesn't matter. But it's the healing that we're seeing is incredible. And especially for children, like children that were diagnosed with ADHD or autism, those children too are responding, because the body is back in place. Like, we know that the gut is the place where 80% of our immune cells are. We know 90% of our serotonin is produced there, our dopamine, our GABA, all the hormones, all of the neurotransmitters. So it makes sense. You know what I mean? It makes sense from a physiological and scientific standpoint why this is working. But it just amazes me every day when I see more and more people coming in with, just even someone that's just stressed. Like, we're not supposed to live in that state of fight or flight 24/7. Like, that disrupts everything in our body. That is not the way the human body is supposed to be running. And then what happens is we are running that way. And then eventually we're done. Like, our body just says no more, and then people just break down, and and then disease presents itself. But we want to try to prevent the disease in the first place.
Exactly. And that's what I feel some of the doctors actually, they mask, and I'm not against doctors, please, don't get me wrong here, but some of the medications mask what the true illness is. And many times, inflammation and a lot of illnesses all stem from the gut.
Absolutely. Inflammation is huge. And when there's a lot of inflammation because of gut dysbiosis, that prevents those neurotransmitters from entering the brain. So that's the piece that's really important to note. So once you get the inflammation to come down, then you notice oh, I'm feeling lighter. I don't have pain. I have more stress resilience. Things that used to really irritate me they're just rolling off my shoulder. Like I hear that all the time, especially from parents, because that's a tough job. You're on call 24/7 and you lose your patience, but I'm hearing from parents, and this is what really gets the fire under me. When I hear from parents, I have more patience. Like that's like
Huge.
huge,
Yeah.
huge, huge. Because you don't feel good when you snap at your kid, right? You feel
No.
horrible. It's like there's so many dads too that are on the protocol, and they're like, boy, I'm not snapping anymore. Like it's amazing. Like I feel so much stronger, like so much more confident and calm and stress resilient. And I think that's the word of this time is stress resilience.
Brilliant. Yeah.
And that's what balancing the gut will do for you is give you stress resilience, because it raises your serotonin, it lowers your cortisol, and it increases your GABA, which helps to keep you calm. So it's hard to articulate until you put the products in your body. Then you realize, wow, I feel different.
That's it. Yeah. And cutting out like your sugar and drinking more water. And we need to be more mindful of the whispers of our body.
Yes. The check engine light that comes on that we ignore.
Oh, I know. I've been there. So yeah. And I ignored it for quite a while. And then all of a sudden, wham, there it is. It hits you so hard that you say to yourself, what's happened? Well, you had, those little voices were telling you in between, go get a check, do this, do that. And for some reason, a lot of people are afraid to go to the doctor, what the outcome may be. But the sooner you get something under control, the better off you are.
Yeah, and I think that we know our bodies better than anyone. And we just really, like you said, we really need to just pay attention. And if we're not sleeping and we're not digesting and we have inflammation and pain in our bodies, that's not normal, and that's not age. And if we have brain fog, like that's not normal. You know what I mean? I think that people like being not well is people just think that's what to expect. But no, our bodies are a machine that can work very, very productively and, can be well. There's no reason for them not to be. We just have to do the things. And like I said, like prevention is key. You don't want to keep on pushing until you fall. You want to prevent that from happening.
Well, that's the thing. And I think most women do that.
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Don't get me going on that one.
Super women.
Today's women, right? Because it's so funny because I talk to them and they say, well, I'm working full time. I have 2 kids and I'm going to school and I just don't feel good. And I'm like, that's the job of like 3 people that you just talked about. Like, let's be realistic here. Like, you got to sleep, right?
Yep.
You got to take care of your body. You got to exercise. Like, how are you doing? Like, you're not superhuman. Like, that's not realistic expectation of one human being.
Exactly.
And I think that everyone, like, they have this expectation, like, and I know a lot of it, some families, they have to have, 2 people working, but, to put more stuff on top of that, even like, I don't know, it's a lot on today's mom. It's a lot on today's mom. And I think it's too much. And I think, if you have to work, even more reason to like really pour into your health to keep yourself able to meet the demands.
So do you think a lot of that actually causes an imbalance in their gut?
Oh, absolutely. No question. No question about it. The more stress you're under, the higher your cortisol levels are. And when your cortisol levels are really high, you're not sleeping well. You have very low, stress resilience. You don't have those serotonin and dopamine and hormone levels get all whacked out. You know what I mean? Stress is the epidemic of the 21st century. I mean, they've known this for years. Stress plays a huge role in our health. And now, everybody's running.
Well, that's it. Now, last year, though, a lot of us didn't run because of COVID. But people were still very sick, and not necessarily because, of COVID. And they were more stressed And I think it was because then the kids, children had to go, on Zoom, and
Right.
there was so much uncertainty.
Right.
that-
Yeah. And finally having to it's like putting the brakes on.
Mhm.
And you're like, after you've been running, avoid, and then you stop and you're like faced with it. Okay, wow. Now what?
Now what? Mhm.
I got to learn a whole new skill set. Like I
Mhm.
have to learn how to be with my kids 24/7. I have to learn how to build my business online. I have to learn how to teach my kids how to be more independent and do the Zoom. I mean, it was just so much for parents, just
It was a
so
lot.
much, a lot, really, really hard. And I think that's why there's such a rise in parent coaches, which they are such a valuable resource, because parents did kind of need to learn how to reparent, because now they're a teacher
Mhm.
and they're a parent 24/7, which
Mhm.
they hadn't been before. So it's, it really did play a toll. And I think, I'm thankful that there are resources that people can take advantage of, like these parent coaches that are surfacing all over the place.
Mhm.
I think people really should take advantage of that. And because parenting, nobody teaches you, right, what to do. You
You have
just,
no clue sometimes.
yeah, you just don't. And if you can get guidance, it will just make the journey so much smoother. So I'm a huge advocate of parent coaches and keeping yourself healthy. I mean, those are two things that you got to do. You got to bring your A game. You got to be on top of it in terms of your health, to be able to be, your best parent, your best spouse, and keep your body healthy so you can do the things you're trying to do.
Because when we have our health, we're very wealthy.
Yes.
Very wealthy, because then we can do anything that we need to do for ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. So we weren't meant to live a less than life. We were meant to bring our gifts. And and we all have them. They're unique to everyone. But how do we do that if we don't feel well?
Right. Exactly. It's
can't.
hard. It's very,
Yeah.
and then, we get angry, we get all these emotions, we yell at them, then we feel guilty, or we feel ashamed, or something,
Right.
and then of course now the body's going to break down because of those all emotions that are stuck within our tissues rather. I call them the issues in our tissues, because they are.
Good. It's true. And I think that's the thing. Like doctors, they don't make any connection. It's a symptom, a pill for every ill. And, this is another thing that I'm really passionate about, is all the side effects of the medications.
Yes.
Like we have to take that into our own hands. We have to research it ourselves. And I see parents of kids that have anxiety and depression that are going that route, and then they pull back. They're like, my kid is worse. Like these side effects are not a joke. Like this is the real thing, and my kid is worse.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I am so passionate about letting people know that there are alternatives. There are other solutions that don't have side effects. Try that as a first route. If you have to go to medication, do it, but it's not supposed to be lifelong. You know what I mean? Like there's no route to go off of them. You know what I mean? Like in as far as the doctors are concerned, you stay on them forever, right? That's not the way it was designed to be. If you look at the side effects of it, it says not for long-term use.
Exactly.
So start with the holistic approach first, really, really embrace it, watch the diet, do the exercise, do the mindful work, connect with your child, do that, make that happen, which is a lot of parents have lost that connection, just because society has been running so fast. But, then you'll see such a shift in your child. If you can get that relationship back, you can get their body feeling better and in balance, you may not need to take that medication route.
Well, that's it, because the medicine does it does cause other challenges.
Absolutely.
Makes them tired, fatigued.
So many things.
Can't think sometimes. Yeah. And it's not healthy.
No, not at all.
No.
I mean, you just read the side effects. If you do anything, read the side effects, because if you do, you're going to be like, I need to rethink this.
Yeah. Oh, 100%, because I'm not a medicine person. And
No.
I'm very into supplements and vitamins and drinking my, collagen and green drink and all this other things. And
Yeah,
and
and look at
I'm
how
fine.
beautiful you are. I mean, look at
Same
how
here.
beautiful you are at your age.
Hmm.
You're vibrant. You're bringing gifts. You're pouring into people right now. You wouldn't be able to do that if you weren't well, if you
No,
hadn't taken care of yourself. And that's the thing. Like, you can't wait. You got to do it now. Like,
no.
prevention is so key. It really is.
And it's not really hard to do. It's just a matter of changing some ways and making a choice actually to change. And know that, you want to be healthy in the 70s and 80s and pray to God, the 90s, so that you can live a decent life and not have to depend on, caregivers, or, something happens to you. And then, now what?
Right. Right.
You want to enjoy yourself in the golden years, I say.
Yes. I love the golden years. I'm loving the golden years.
Hmm.
It's not like I literally have been on this holistic path, like I said, since I was 10. You know what I mean? And I, knock on wood, I don't get sick. If something comes up, I just recently did, like, every now and then, every couple of years, I go and get an extensive blood work, saliva test, see where my hormones are at. And then I tweak it, with an integrative practitioner, and we tweak it, and then it's good. So just keep up with it. You know what I mean?
It's
Keep up with it.
important, so
Yeah.
that we stay healthy. Now, I know there's a lot of things going on with mental wellness. So in your opinion, what does our gut have to do with mental wellness?
I know it seems crazy, right?
Yeah, it
It
does.
really does. I mean, it sounds so crazy. And I've always been, like I said, into health and wellness, and I was with another company for 10 years, a health and wellness company. And I always knew that the gut was responsible for our immune system, because 80% of our immune cells are in the gut. But I never really knew that our neurotransmitters were also created in the gut. So serotonin, which is a feel-good neurotransmitter, 90% of it is produced in the gut. So if your gut is out of whack, you're not producing all the serotonin. And it
Mhm.
makes sense, right? So dopamine, the same thing, another good feeling, helps us with focus. GABA is another one, which helps to keep us calm. Norepinephrine is really more for focus too, but all of that goes back to the gut. And if our gut is out of balance from stress, that's number one, toxins,
Toxins.
medications,
Mhm.
medications, stress, big time. Um, and if that's out of whack, and then digestion too. So if your gut's out of whack, you're not digesting well, which means that you're not absorbing the nutrients that you're taking in. And if you're not excreting, if you're not having regular bowel movements, I hate to be real here, but that's also a problem,
Mhm.
which a lot of people have, which they don't realize what the ramifications of that is. You know what I mean? So the gut really we call it the motherboard. It's kind of like it can open those signals up for the good feel chemicals, for the kids too, with that have focus issues, or moms that have brain fog. It all stems and goes back to the gut. So the mental health piece, so many kids have such anxiety, and it's because
Yes.
they're
Mhm.
not producing those neurotransmitters. They're just not. They're not getting that connection to the brain. Those feel good neurotransmitters are not reaching the brain. I mean, that's one part of it. It's never just one thing. Lifestyle also, or lack of exercise, lack of hydration.
Right. Always on video games and
Yes,
social
yes.
media and all this other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think also the lack of connection, between families, parents, like how many broken families are there? That's really stressful for children. Like, there's just so many factors when it comes to kids and society nowadays. And of course, this is just one piece of the pie, but I think it's an easy piece that people, like a lot of the parent coaches, will incorporate this protocol and say, hey, mom, you sound pretty stressed out. Let's get you getting more stress resilience.
Mhm.
And your child, if they're having focus issues, let's at least get them some good nutrients in their body and help them with that. You know what I mean? And when a kid can have better focus and be more calm, they'll have more confidence. They'll
Yes.
learn better. You know what I mean? And that's I think there's just so many pieces to it all.
I think a lot of the schools need to focus more on better lunches and
Oh
take
my God.
away some of those
Don't
candy
get me
bars.
started.
I
Don't get me
know.
started on that one. I sent my kids to school with lentil soup. They'll never forgive me. But no, I'm serious. I mean, it was like, no way are you eating that. Like, no.
Horrible.
It's not only is it not nutritious,
Right.
it's like it's like
Well,
anti.
chemicals.
Yes.
It's GMO food,
Yeah.
you know.
And the sugar. I mean, if you think about it, if you start reading labels and we're only supposed to get like 25 grams of sugar a day, you start reading labels and you'll be blown away by the amount of sugar that kids are taking in now. It's probably like way over 100.
Oh,
easily,
without a doubt.
easily. And
And
so what does that do when you have an overgrowth of sugar in your body? That just pushes all, your body wants more of it to keep it alive. So it creates a very acidic environment in the gut. So it's just all bad bacteria growing in there, and all the antibiotics, what they do, just wipe out all the good bacteria.
mhm.
So these kids are like, sugar is a bad one.
Yeah, and it could
Because,
cancer causing also. That's another
yeah,
whole thing that people don't realize, that a lot of
because
these
it creates
foods.
an acidic environment. That's why,
Mhm.
because cancer thrives in an acidic environment.
Oh, I
So yeah.
know.
So it's
It,
interesting because when you start to introduce and repopulate the gut with this protocol, with these probiotics and prebiotics, your body starts to kind of push out the bad bacteria, or and then you don't have the sugar cravings. A lot of people notice like, I don't really feel like having that.
mhm.
You know what I mean? And it's not like you can't, but it's because the bacteria is now good bacteria and it's not asking you for sugar. It's asking you for fruits and vegetables and good things.
Exactly. Mhm.
Yeah. It's really interesting. Even the moms will say, my kid never ate vegetables, and now they're asking for vegetables. Like, that's weird.
Yeah, but that's what we should be eating,
Yes.
fruits and vegetables and drinking water only, not soda.
Mm,
And all these high energy drinks and caffeine. And
oh my gosh.
I look at some of the ingredients and I say, you have to be kidding. You have to, why are you allowing your
Yeah.
child to drink this? It's just going to give them an incredible high, and then the low is going to be crashing, and then they're going to want more of it.
Right, exactly. And then the red dye and all of that is really, some kids are really sensitive to that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Bad behavior. You see meltdowns. You see kids that can't focus. Like, it's, there's a lot of factors.
And I think it's all because of the gut and that
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
all the chemicals and and not just the chemicals that we're putting into our body, everything, how we clean the house and
Oh, yeah.
everything. I mean, we're talking about everything.
Yes, 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 yes. And
So,
and the environment that we're breathing. I mean, we can't get away from that,
mhm,
but we can provide our body with more antioxidants to help with that. You know what I mean? So we have
exactly. So what is this protocol that you've been talking about? I'm curious now.
Yeah, so it's called the
Uh-huh.
Fundamentals, and we actually won a nutraceutical award back in 2018.
Oh,
And we have patents on all the products. So it's a gut-brain access system. So there's three parts to it. So the gut is the probiotic, the prebiotics, the phytobiotics, the psychobiotics. So they are specific strains that have been clinically tested for decreasing anxiety, increasing serotonin, decreasing cortisol, improving digestion. So they've all been tested to do that clinically tested. And then the focus is for the brain. So there's certain herbs and minerals in there that help for the brain function. And then the menta sync is the third part of it. The sync is what connects the vagus nerve, the gut to the brain, so that the signals get there. So that's the three pieces: the gut, the brain, and the axis, which is the vagus nerve that connects the gut to the brain.
wow.
So it helps
So
with that communication between them.
so is it something that you would take every day or?
Yeah, yeah. It's been my insurance policy. I've been on this for 3.5 years, and knock on wood, I am rarely sick, if ever.
Mhm.
If I am, it's like one day, maybe slight. You know what I mean? My immune system is very strong because of it, because that's where our immune system is in the gut. And then
Yeah.
the stress resilience piece is huge because we're all under stress, no matter what. Can't get rid of it,
No.
but it's how we respond to it. And that's what this protocol is really helps to build that stress resilience.
So it actually calms you while feeding you
Yes,
good nutrition and clearing out all the bad bacteria in the gut.
exactly. Bingo.
That's what we all need.
Yes, you
Mhm.
just said it right there in a nutshell. That was perfect.
Yeah, I mean, even I know for myself, years ago when I was seeing a holistic doctor, the first thing we spoke about was the gut
Yes.
and how that causes so much illness in the body, and not just there, mental illness.
Yes. I went to a seminar a year or so ago about schizophrenia and gut microbiota. And what they're doing is experimenting with it, um, and doing like fecal transplants, which sounds really crazy,
Mm.
but it's really helping people with schizophrenia. So I mean, you cannot deny that there's a gut brain connection. You can't deny it. And there's a
No,
lot of research coming out with cancer as well, along the lines of that.
for gut research.
Yeah, and like modulating the microbiome, like putting in specific bacteria that are needed. So it's really interesting science, and this is fairly new over the last 5 to 10 years that they are researching all of this.
It's a shame that our doctors don't get into all this.
No, they don't.
It's all
No, but there's a lot
pharmaceutical.
of holistic doctors that know exactly all about it. You know, they've been on this for a while. Like they know that they can cure certain illnesses that doctors say are incurable. Like I hear it all the time.
Well, yeah, I mean, if your journey is to heal from it, you'll heal, but you
Yes,
got to put the work into it.
right. Yes, on all levels, right?
Mhm. And that's a challenging part, and it could get really, hairy at one point where you look and you say, gee, this is so challenging. Do I really want to move forward? But once you get past that real challenging feelings,
Yeah.
you begin to heal.
Yeah, and you have to have that belief and the deserving that believing that you deserve to be
Yes.
well.
I always say no, trust and feel and believe.
Yes.
Believe. Because when we believe, and then it's all about positive thinking. You can be a victim of the illness, or you could say, no, I'm not going to be a victim of it. I'm going to move through this no matter what the end result is.
Right. Right. Yeah,
That
I see it. And it's so beautiful to see, it really is, when people take that on and just say, nope, not happening.
not happening.
The diagnosis that you've given me is not the diagnosis I'm giving myself. So see you later.
Exactly. I know. Well,
Yeah.
I was given a diagnosis of rheumatoid arthritis, like about, that was in my 30s. And looked at me and he said, oh, you're gonna be crippled just like your mom. And I looked at him and I said, oh, no, 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 no.
Wow.
Yeah. And I said, don't you put
Wow.
those negative thoughts into my head, and of
Yes.
course, now we got into a little, discussion there. And a year later, I went back to him and said to him, can you do some blood work? I want to see where if the rheumatoid arthritis is progressing. I use some little technique there, and
Mhm.
he did it, and he said, "Oh, there must be a mistake because I don't, see anything here in
Wow.
the blood work." I said, "That's right." I says, and
Wow.
him and I, oh, wow, did we have it out. And basically he almost threw me out of the office, but it was worth it because I
Oh,
had
I
to
love
show
it.
him, you are wrong. You
I
can
love it.
heal. Yeah.
Oh man, I
Mine
love
and
it.
supplements and changing my ways. That was huge.
I love it. Yeah,
And
I love it.
yeah,
I have a friend who was it's probably about 15 years now. She was diagnosed with MS, And they told her, you'll be in a wheelchair in 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
And she's running marathons and winning. She was in the Boston Marathon. She's been in that multiple years in a row. I mean, she's totally like, no, not accepting that diagnosis.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what, we have to understand, that it's those words that get stuck in here. And then instead of it being a tiny little seed, it starts to sprout, and then we believe it. And that's how all of a sudden we end up getting extremely ill and feeling lousy, I want to say. So and then the same with the parents. I always tell them, watch what you say to your kids, because, if you say you're fat, you're ugly, you're stupid, you're this, they're going to, they may fight with you and argue, but that little seed is still there. And when they get older, they think, oh, maybe I am this or that. So yeah, it's important. We need to watch what we say.
Absolutely. And watch what we think.
Oh yeah. So now what company is this that what we're talking about?
So this is Amare Global.
Okay.
The name of it. And we are now just currently in the United States and Mexico. We are going to enter into the UK and Canada very soon. And we plan on being a global company. So we are, it's really interesting how the company got started. The CEO is actually a young man. He's in his 40s, hip tran, and he's extremely wealthy man and was retired, but found himself addicted. He had some addiction issues, put himself in rehab, but he went into a holistic rehab where they did not do, it was like meditation and supplements and exercise. And so he healed. And when it was very expensive, obviously, for him to go to that. So when being retired and being very, very wealthy, he said, I'm going to create nonprofit centers for people to be able to go and heal. So this company, Amare Global, will be funding those nonprofit learning centers. So that's his vision, is to create centers all around the world that people can go and heal. So we are, we have products. We also have like apps that people can go to do meditation, to learn exercise. We're a give back company. We are a products, programs, and people. We just partnered with a mental health center in Utah for children. So we are giving to them. We're partnered with Mission 22, which helps vets with PTSD.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's just a remarkable, it's really more of a mission than anything. And that's why I'm so passionate about this. Like, there's so many people that need healing, and they need tools, as many tools as they can find. And this is a really good one that nobody's talking about. Nobody's talking about the physiological piece of healing. You know what I mean? The spiritual piece absolutely is important. The emotional piece, all of that, the mindset piece, but the physiological piece, where we're holding that pain and that trauma and that hurt or imbalance, can be addressed in a physiological way. And that's basically what we're doing and what we're trying to share with people, so that they know there are alternatives that can help them with healing.
And help their children.
And the children, big time. Yes. The
innocent
innocent
children. How long has the company been around?
I'm fairly new, about 4 years. I got in fairly, when I first went out to meet the company in California, boy, there was just a handful of people there, but I was so blown away by his story and the moms that I met there that had postpartum depression. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, like, just think about how different that family's life is if this mom can get a handle on her postpartum depression. Like, that's trickling into that child, that family. And then I heard stories of moms whose kids had, ADHD. And, just when I heard these stories, I was like, oh my gosh, this information needs to get out into the world. Like, this is really important.
It's really very important. And I feel a lot of people, I think they're beginning to become awakened.
Yes.
And see that there is something else other than just pharmaceuticals. And we need to look at the food supply and all the chemtrails and a lot of other things that are, causing us to feel horrible, and well, causing us, our bodies, to break down and be unhealthy.
There's many factors, but we can only control what we can. You know what I mean? We can't control the environment, the air that we're breathing, and the toxins from the carpets and the paint and all that stuff. But we can do whatever we can to, prevent illness.
Well, that's it. Like for myself, I only use now organic. Well, I've been using for quite some time, but organic food, organic makeup,
Right.
organic things to clean my house, different type of, and it all has to be unscented, so that because I'm very sensitive to the smell, and I've noticed we feel so much better.
Oh, yes. Yep. Clean is the way to go. Clean eating, clean everything, as clean as you can get, and then just relax about the rest. Let it go. Like, don't obsess over it. I think some people start to obsess over things, and that's not good either.
No,
you know what I mean?
no.
So there's got to be like a balance. But if you're doing whatever you can, then you're good. Just relax with it and live your life.
So all this, the probiotics and all will all help, your gut, and
Absolutely.
and it helps the gut to heal, and then in
And
turn,
detoxify.
that's a big one.
Yeah, and it helps your gut to detoxify. Like if people are bound up because they're not eating enough fiber and whatnot, that's toxin in your body. That's not good environment for your body. So even simple as that, and hydration, so important.
Yeah,
and there's
water.
people that don't drink any water at all, ever.
I know.
And they have massive headaches and constipation and all that stuff. And if you just up your water intake, you'll see some of that stuff go away. Flush out the toxins.
Yeah, I know. At one point, where I was working, it was challenging to drink water, and then I started feeling lightheaded, and then it ended up being I was dehydrated from not drinking. So that was the only. Thank God, it was the only issue. I had to hydrate myself, and so it's so important that. Yeah, if you work for a company, well, you need to drink that water and go take a quick bathroom break instead of a smoke break. So
right. And what about our children in schools?
Yes, they do not.
I used to send my kids in with water bottles, and I got some grief for that, but I'm like, it's going to happen. And still, even one water bottle is not enough for an entire day.
No.
But it's better than nothing, because most of them are getting nothing.
They're getting nothing. Yeah, because they're in a class all day.
Yeah,
now the masks don't help either. But
I know. How do you expect a child to concentrate and learn?
I know this world is a little crazy making.
It's a little crazy. I know.
I thought I would never live to see the day, but it's.
I know, and it's getting crazier and crazier.
I know what's happened here. I mean, I
but
just
it's bringing out all the healers, and it's, you know what I mean. So that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. If people would just take a hold of it, that's the thing. Like, take a hold of it, like, access and do the things that you need to do,
and research. Research. I mean, that's what I do when I'm not sure of anything. I, not just Google, I go on a lot of other doctors, holistic doctor sites, and you're surprised you find out those right answers.
Oh, yes,
absolutely. Because it's, Google doesn't know everything, but and neither does Alexa. So, it's like, I hear people, I'll ask Alexa or Google. No, maybe you need to look somewhere else.
Well, and I think that we need to trust our own intuition, because we know our bodies better than anyone.
Yes.
Like, way better than the doctor does, but we need to be more in touch with our bodies.
Well, that's it. Yeah. So now, where can people, find you and know more about your products that'll help them heal?
Yeah, so you can go to my Facebook page. Are you going to put stuff in the notes? Like, you can put my site on there. And then I have a great group called Mental Wellness Warriors. It's on Facebook, and there's thousands of people in there and telling their stories of what this protocol has done for them. So it's really interesting. We have stories about inflammation and stress resilience and ADHD and PTSD and autoimmune, like everything you can think of.
Everything.
And it's all the same protocol. So it's kind of like give your body what it needs in the gut and let your body just heal itself like it was designed to do.
Now,
So
do they have like an adult and a children's version?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, there is. There is a children's version. Yes.
'Cause the
Same
kids
protocol,
need it.
but it's all powder because
Mhm.
some kids can't swallow pills. But we have kids as young as 2 years old using this protocol.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. I had a mom with a 2-year-old who was having meltdowns like daily. And she knew because she was in the holistic field, this isn't normal. Something's not right here. So within 2 weeks, all the meltdowns stopped after getting on the protocol. It's pretty amazing.
The body is deficient and people don't understand that. And it's the food that we're feeding them and they need supplementation just like we do because the soil is so depleted.
Yes.
And even organic, as much as, we eat the organic to an extent, the soil is still, it depends on where you get it and the shipping and everything else, the nutrients go bye-bye. So,
Right. Yeah, we definitely, unfortunately, unless we lived in a bubble, the foods are not going to be as nutritious unless, even if we have our own garden, which is best, but who's doing that? You know what I mean? So
I looked into it, but boy, we have an apple tree in the back and the squirrels and everything do a number on it. So I said, wow, if I did an organic garden, I probably wouldn't have anything to eat because they would definitely, and they need food too, but yeah, they've been doing a number on it and that's fine, but so again, where does everybody find you and your
you can definitely find me on Facebook and then certainly come over to the Mental Wellness Warriors. It's a private group, but you can ask to come in and just say, you found me through this podcast, so I know where you found me, and then I'll approve you and you can come in and look around. There's some amazing stories in there.
I got to get on there on Facebook.
So
I don't know. I wonder if I am or not. I may have. I'll have to check it out again. Mental Wellness Warriors.
Yes,
on Facebook.
I can send you an invitation. I'm not sure if you're in there yet either.
Well, thank you. Well, this has been a little bit of a, not a little bit, actually, a lot of bit of an eye opener, because again, everything stems from the gut, which people do not understand and realize.
No, truth. That is the truth.
So we can help ourselves heal once we know where to begin.
Yes, the root cause. That's the thing, the root. That's what you got to find. And everything just kind of falls into place.
Oh, I know. Believe me. Okay. So on Facebook, Mental
Wellness Warriors.
Mental Wellness Warriors. I just got a brain fart. I'm thinking of my spiritual warrior coach. I love the name. It's a great name. But well, thank you, Dale, so much for visiting today, and I appreciate all this information. And we will have all this information on YouTube and Spotify and Apple and everywhere else.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, Barbara. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. So, I want to thank everybody for listening today. And again, a very, very big thank you to Dale. I mean, this was unbelievable. You got to check your gut because that's where everything begins. And if you don't, then you're missing something. And chances are you probably, have some type of illness or disease and inflammation or whatever it may be. So again, thank you to Dale. And I hope that, I hope actually, you heard what you actually needed to hear today. Again, thank you for listening and visit me at motivateyourlife.net. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Spiritual Warrior Coach. And it's on Spotify, on Apple, and on Amazon, and of course on YouTube. And I do have another YouTube, Barbara Savin, and there I have some meditation MP3s for you to listen to, and grounding and sleep and some other good things for you to help yourself heal. And if you're interested in learning energy healing, go on Amazon and maybe purchase my book, Gentle Energy Touch, The Beginner's Guide to Hands-On Healing. So, thank you again for listening. A big thank you to my guest, Dale, and have a beautiful week filled with love and with light. Love, Barbara.